Okay, so get ready, because today we're diving into something pretty wild. This video from Storybook 11, it's called Anomaly in the Clouds. And, well, let's just say the footage is, it's pretty out there. We're going to break it all down, of course. Plus, we've got a whole analysis to dig into as well, because sometimes you need more than just your eyes to figure out what's going on up there, you know. So the video starts with our YouTuber driving near Chicago. It's a stormy afternoon. And they're out there. They love filming clouds. You know, they're into weather, a bit of a weather enthusiast, it seems like. And maybe they've even caught some other weird stuff on camera before. But this time they find something really different, like a swirling, funnel-shaped cloud. And they even say in the video it's not like a normal tornado funnel or anything. Something about it's just off. And here's the thing. This YouTuber, they're not exactly new to storms, right? But as they're filming this cloud, they get hit with this wave of fear, like out of nowhere. And that's what really makes you wonder, like maybe something more is going on here. And it gets even weirder because later when they're reviewing the footage, boom, there's this perfect dark triangle just appears in the clouds. And the YouTuber's adamant it was not there when they were filming. Then years later, their niece is watching the video and points out something else, like a metallic looking cigar-shaped clouds in the last few seconds of the footage. Talk about a twist. So to help us make sense of all this, we've got our expert on all things strange and unexplained. What do you make of all this?
You know, this case is really interesting. We've got this visual evidence and then this strong emotional response layered on top of it. I think we need to start with the elephant in the room, or should I say the triangle in the clouds. The human brain is hardwired to find patterns, even when they aren't really there. It's called pareidolia. It's why we see faces in toast or animals in clouds. Remember that famous face on Mars? Back in '76, NASA's Viking 1 spacecraft took pictures of this Martian mesa, and it totally looked like a human face. Of course, it set off all these conspiracy theories, but later on we got higher resolution images. Turned out it was just light and shadow playing tricks.
Right, so pareidolia could explain why the YouTuber saw a triangle, even if the cloud itself wasn't a perfect geometric shape. But what about that funnel cloud they filmed? Could that be explained by any known weather phenomena?
Oh, absolutely. There are a few natural events that could create that kind of visual. Fall straight holes, for example. These happen when supercooled water droplets in a cloud suddenly freeze and expand, creating a void. These holes can sometimes appear elongated or even triangular, depending on your viewing angle. Then you've got Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds. These are formed by layers of air moving at different speeds. They create these incredible wave-like formations that under certain circumstances might resemble a funnel or even a triangle.
And those are the ones that look kind of like those paintings of crashing ocean waves, right?
Exactly. They often appear near mountains or in areas with unstable air masses, and their constantly shifting dynamic nature can make them appear very unusual. So we've got pareidolia and some freaky cloud formations as possibilities. But what about that feeling of fear the YouTuber described? Could that be explained by any of this?
Yeah, that's the part that really gets me. Is there something about these weather events that could cause that kind of visceral reaction?
It's a really interesting question. Witnessing a rare atmospheric event could definitely trigger a primal fear response, especially if someone's not familiar with it. But there's another angle we need to consider. Infrasound.
Infrasound. I'm not familiar with that.
Basically, it's sound that's below the range of human hearing. We don't consciously hear it, but our bodies can still perceive it. And there have been studies linking infrasound exposure to feelings of anxiety, dread, and even hallucinations.
So you're saying our bodies are picking up on something our ears can't, and it's messing with our heads?
Exactly. Think about how animals react to earthquakes or tsunamis before we even realize what's happening. They're picking up on those low-frequency waves. There's this thing called wind turbine syndrome, where people living near wind farms report similar feelings of unease and discomfort, and infrasound from the turbines is one suspected cause.
Okay, that's wild. So you're thinking this YouTuber might have been unconsciously picking up on infrasound generated by the storm, maybe even amplified by those weird cloud formations, and that's what made them feel so scared.
It's definitely possible. And this brings us to the other intriguing detail. That cigar-shaped cloud the YouTuber's niece noticed, when you combine that with the triangle, it kind of pushes us into UAP territory.
Okay, we got to talk about this. UAPs, we're talking about UFOs, right?
Yeah. Essentially, yes. But UAP is a broader term. It covers anything in the sky that we can't readily identify. And black triangle UFOs, like the one maybe seen in this video, are a pretty common theme in UAP reports.
So what makes black triangle UFOs different? It's just the shape.
Well, the triangular shape is a big part of it, but there's more to it than that. They're often described as very large, moving silently, sometimes with lights at each corner. And the reports often mention weird flight capabilities, maneuvers that just don't make sense with our understanding of aerodynamics.
So we're not talking about your average drone here.
Not even close. And here's where things get really tricky. Sometimes what someone sees as a solid object, even on radar, it can actually be a result of how the radar data is being processed. Atmospheric conditions or even glitches in the software can create these false images, and our brains try to make sense of them.
So you mean our instruments can be tricked just like our eyes? Man, that makes it even harder to figure out what's real and what's not.
Exactly. And that's why we need to be so careful. It's crucial to approach these topics with skepticism and really think critically. Just because something doesn't have an obvious explanation doesn't mean it's aliens.
Right. But it doesn't rule it out either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so fascinating. There's just so much we don't know about our atmosphere, about human perception, and yeah, about the possibility of stuff out there that we don't understand yet.
So how do we even start to make sense of all this?
Yeah.
We've got the video footage, the YouTuber's experience, and all these possible explanations, from totally scientific to seemingly impossible.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's why cases like this are so interesting. They really make us think about what we believe and consider new possibilities.
Okay, so let's try to connect the dots a bit here. We talked about the YouTuber describing that first cloud as funnel-shaped. Could that have been a fall streak hole? Or a Kelvin Helmholtz cloud? Or was it something totally different?
It's hard to say for sure without seeing the footage ourselves. Both fall streak holes and Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds can create those long, shifting shapes. But the fact that it wasn't static, the way it seemed to be moving in such a strange way, that adds another layer to it all.
And then there's that cigar-shaped cloud Denise saw. Could that be connected to the triangle somehow? Or are we talking about two completely separate things here?
It's tempting to try and connect them, especially since there are a lot of black triangle UFO sightings, where people report seeing smaller cylindrical objects too.
So like escort ships or something.
Some people think so, but we have to be careful about jumping to conclusions. It's totally possible that the cigar-shaped cloud was something else entirely. Maybe even a lenticular cloud seen from a specific angle.
Right, those lenticular clouds can look like almost anything depending on the light and where you're standing.
Exactly. They're a great example of how easily our eyes can play tricks on us, especially when we're looking at something as changeable and dynamic as the sky.
This whole deep dive has been one big reminder to never underestimate Mother Nature and all the crazy stuff she can throw our way. So where does that leave us? We've gone from pareidolia to black triangle UFOs. And we still don't know for sure what our YouTuber filmed that day.
And that's all right. Sometimes it's not about finding all the answers you know. Sometimes exploring the mystery is more about opening your mind to what's possible.
I like that. It's about the journey, not just the destination, right?
Exactly. And in this case, the journey has taken us to some pretty amazing places. We've talked about cloud formations, human perception, even the possibility of things we can't explain yet.
It really makes you see the sky differently. I know I'll be looking up a lot more now.
Me too. And that's the beauty of it all. Every time we look up, it's a reminder of how much we still don't know.
Well said. So to everyone listening, next time you're staring at the clouds, think about this case. Could that weird shape be a trick of the light, a rare weather event, or something we just can't explain? The answer might be close, maybe even right in your own backyard. Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and most importantly, never lose that sense of wonder. This has been an amazing deep dive, and a huge thank you to our expert for joining us today and sharing their insights. Until next time, everyone, happy exploring.